Hey everybody, welcome to Game Dev Weekly, the weekly show where I do game development. This week I've got some really interesting stuff. I've got the giveaway at the end of the video. Also, I got some information about the closed alpha that I'll be doing in probably about July. In the video, I've got some stuff where I work on some of the machinery. So moving away from manual processes and more towards automatic building machines, stuff like that. And then finally, I've also got the terrain working. So check that out, but be sure to stick around for the end of the video where I talk about how to play the game in July, and also the giveaway. Okay, so I've done a little bit more work on the aesthetics of the game, trying to get the color grading right as well, making the scene actually look a bit nicer. This is just going to be a work in progress through the entire of the development. So what else have I been working on? When you first play the game, you're kind of greeted with an empty space, something like this. There'll be a river there, and also space to dig into the terrain. You won't have these objects; you'll have to buy them. But this is kind of part 2 of the progress in the game, and it's essentially about making machines instead of doing manual processes. So right here, I've got some of these crate foundation blocks, and I've just made a simple building system. So if I press this, then it allows me to place it down. So red shows that I can't place it down, and then blue shows that I can. This is also snapping to a grid just to make everything a bit easier. You can also rotate things, but just keep it a grid for now. These will have more uses later on, but for now I just wanted to do them because they're square and easy to do. So right here we've got a pipe inlet. So if I try and place this down, so all it needs to do is it'll eventually just have to be inside water, then it'll work fine. So you can see there, the bottom of it is in the water. Now if I pick up pieces of the pipe, you can see these red lines, which are basically trying to find, is there another piece of pipe nearby? And if it is, then it's able to place down. So I'm going to get this right here, place that in there. Yep. So the next thing I need to work on now is the ability for the pipes to actually understand that there's water flowing through them. Starting off here with some sort of entryway, and then each pipe passing on the information, and then when one pipe is removed from the system, then the other 2 pipes understand that this needs to stop flowing water and this one is completely empty. Alright, so I've been working on this water flow system a little bit, early stages right now, and I'm not too sure if this is the best way of doing it, but it seems like it's the easiest way for doing it right now, so I figured why the hell not. So essentially, the way it works is you place down this intake valve, so that sits right there, and then you can basically, what this intake valve is doing is it has a box just underneath of it, and if that box is inside some water, then it actually intakes the water, and then every second it pushes water through the pipe. So you can see here that there's this, so when the pipe has water, there's a blue line that goes through this, just so I can tell while I'm working on it that there's actually water going through. And then there's also this red line that comes out of it, and this basically tells me that it's actually pumping water through. I can then add in another pipe. So you can see there, the water goes through that pipe. And it also works on these angled pipes too. So next thing I need to do is have the ability that when a pipe is removed, that the other pipes stop having water flow, and obviously the one that I removed wouldn't have water flow. So I've been busy the last few days just finishing the rest of this system, so I'll just show it off to you right now. So first I need to place down one of these foundations, and then one of these new machines, which is actually made by a friend of mine. His link to his portfolio will actually be in the description of the video if you want to check out some of his other works. So I can place this down right here, and you can see it's basically a mining device which uses water to push this bar up and down, and then that outputs some dirt from this little door right here. Right, so let's get some pipes going. So this basically needs water to work. If it doesn't have any water, then nothing happens like it is right now. Firstly, I think what we'll do is actually grab the bucket and put the bucket in place. So first you can actually use this as with just the bucket, but later on you may want to improve this with some sort of, I think I'll add some sort of device where water flows into it and then it does the panning side of things, just as an upgrade for the next tier. Anyway, so we've got our bucket in place right here. I'm going to take the in valve, make sure it's rotated properly, and now it should start. There you go. So that thing comes down, and we're missing our bucket by a little bit. Maybe need to do a little work in setting up the bucket a bit easier. There we go, that's working. So the dirt goes in the bucket, that fills up. Then after a while I can grab my pan and start panning again. I haven't fixed the size of the items yet, so they're still appearing really big and getting a lot of ore for doing not a lot of work. So later on maybe I'll fix that. So here's my dirt, I'm going to chuck it in the pan. I only got rubies. Right. Alright, well I'll grab some gold from over here and show you guys this next thing that I've made. So this is a small furnace that I'm placing down right here. It will have a fire effect when I get around to doing it. But just to show you how this works, I get some gold and I put it inside of the crucible. And I get the crucible, and if I put it in here it starts to heat up. You can see this material changes colour, and eventually it will be a bright red hot, and then the gold ore that's in there will turn into liquid gold. And then I can take this mold I've got right here and pour the gold into the mold, and then a gold bar will pop out. Alright, so now it's finished. I can take out this thing. You can see the crucible has got red hot, and then it'll start to cool down as I take it out as well, and the material will start to change back to its black colour. So after all that gold, I got a tiny little bar here, and that is ready to be sold in the store. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to make is this waterfall machine, and this is a crude drawing that I've just finished now based on a little screenshot I took. So the idea of this machine is that it pumps water in, you put dirt buckets inside of it, and then it automatically sorts through it. So it's basically like a big barrel, the pipe goes into it, the tap pours the water out, the water goes through the trough, and then this is kind of the area that you want to throw the dirt into. So starting off with a sketch like this, I'd usually send it maybe to an artist, but I think today I'm just going to find some of these models in asset packs that I already own, change them around a little bit, use some of this piping that I've already got, and then hopefully make a model out of it. This is one of the asset packs that I own. I own quite a few of them from Cincy Studios. It makes it really easy to work because I don't personally do much modeling, so having these already just to put straight into Substance Painter is actually really helpful. So I've noticed here there's a really nice trough here. I guess this is probably for like an animal, but it works pretty well for what we're trying to do. So I'll take this and combine it with a barrel, and then edit it a bit in Maya and see where we go from there. So next up I've just got to find that barrel. Alright, so here's the dungeon pack, and I found a really nice barrel right here. It's not obviously the right orientation or the size, but I think what I can do is make it thinner and smaller, maybe put these feet on the bottom instead, and put this on the side as well. So I'm going to put these into Maya, which is a 3D modeling software, and then combine them, make them look good. Right, so I'm about finished with this now. I've just put it into the world. I haven't given it any material just yet. I just wanted to see what the scale's like and everything before I go ahead and make any materials. So this is obviously the other machine. I wanted to put it next to it just to get a good idea of the scale of it, and it's turned out pretty alright. I think it looks pretty cool. I decided to get rid of the feet in the end. It just didn't really work out too well, and also I decided to keep the intake on the side and not the top, just because it works out a little bit easier to fit everything in. So next stage is to give this some materials, then I'm gonna put it back into Unreal Engine and code it to work. So I've been a little bit busy since the last clip I made, and in the meantime I've got this thing working right now. Effects are looking a bit crap, but I can fix those later on. I added in a T-pipe as well, just because I thought it might be a bit easier having two machines now if there's a T-pipe. And then other than that, I've been working on something pretty special. I added in 3 new tools, and I added these in because I finally got the terrain digging working. Now I'm using a plugin that I found online. Somebody showed me this and it's just been really helpful. So the way it works is, so there's 3, sorry, there's 2 shovels now. There's this standard one, and then there's the better one, and then there's also the pickaxe as well. So these 2 are used to actually pick up dirt and place it down. And then, so this one does a small load, this one does a bit of a bigger load. And then finally the pickaxe does really big holes. So this is just for clearing ground when you actually want to get down in somewhere. There's some water here just because I placed water right here. It wouldn't actually be in a standard spot of land, but I just needed some water quickly to show off this demonstration. So yeah, this is really good. I'm really happy with how it's come out. I think I also need to add in some lighting elements as well, so when you're actually down here it's pretty hard to see anything. So that'll be next. Maybe even some cosmetics with that as well, just things that you can place in your mining tunnel to make it look nicer. But next off, something that I want to do is change the way that the pan works, because now we have this waterfall rig. It makes the entire thing a bit useless because it takes the same amount of time to use this than it does to use the pan. So now what I'm going to do is make it so you have to brush a few times to actually use this pan. And also I'm going to give a cooldown by the amount of times you can swing with either the brush or the shovels, just to make it a bit more balanced. So that's going to do it for this week. I've been having so much fun working on this project. And since it's been so fun to work on, I've actually put in a lot of time. I've been working about 12 hours a day for the last 2 weeks on this, and it's only because I'm really enjoying it. And because I've been working so hard, it's actually getting to a level where it's sort of playable. So because of this, I want to do a closed alpha. The closed alpha is a great opportunity for players to play the game and give feedback about what they want to see in the game. So if you head over to my Patreon, for the $2 bottom tier, you can jump into the game, and there's a few other rewards in there as well, so be sure to check that out. This is really helpful to me to be able to keep developing. There's a couple guys in there already, and thank you guys so much for supporting me. It really does mean a lot. I cannot do this without you guys. So now on, I'm going to be uploading on Mondays for Patreon supporters and Wednesdays for everybody else. So I've also got that giveaway that I do every week. So if you're interested in winning a copy of The Scuttle, my previous game, then subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and leave a comment below. In a few days, I'll go around and pick a random one and send you a free copy of the game. Thank you guys for watching again. It really means a lot to me. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and next week's video is going to be a real good one. So be sure to subscribe for that.